So whilst I was making the Pandora video on Borderlands 1 about what it would be like to live on Pandora, and all these literally everything explained videos which I've been looking into the lore of each characters and laws of enemies and how bandits got onto Pandora and the backgrounds of things, it got me thinking, what was Pandora actually like before Borderlands 1? As in, we've never actually seen what it was like. We've been told what it's like, and we've got pictures of certain things before the Borderlands 1 game, but we never actually played in that time, and it got me thinking about stuff to do with lore and gameplay and what could potentially be the future of Borderlands. Seeing how the future of Borderlands and the story that's going on right now isn't exactly great, and people don't really know where to go with it, and I feel like Gearbox are also in that sort of situation right now where they don't really know where to go. I give them the ultimate solution, and something that you probably haven't thought of, but I definitely have. What if Borderlands 4 was actually a prequel to Borderlands 1? Now, I'm just going to be talking about things that I would actually like to see in the game, and things that I really think would capture the old aesthetic, the old vibe of Borderlands that really drew me in as a person back in the day. So the first one is just go back and look at Borderlands 1's aesthetics and sort of just compare them to Borderlands 3's. They seem a lot more dusty, rustic, and post-apocalyptic than they are in the most recent game. The most recent game, it sort of shows everything is sort of like, yes, cartoony, but very colourful and comical and very upfront, whilst back in the day, yes, obviously they had less to work with, and games that are older tend to look a bit more creepy, but it seems like the planet had signs of life long before Borderlands 1 began. Almost like you've got onto a planet way after its prime, and it gives off vibes that you were once on this massive, great planet with a thriving populace that's sort of been turned to shit. I mean, look at Dahl, for example. The Dahl occupation of Pandora and the mining operations that they had are so intriguing to me, and I would absolutely love to find out what the hell happened with Dahl. You go onto Pandora and you go all around, there is Dahl plastered everywhere. I mean, Sanctuary was literally owned by Dahl and is a Dahl mining ship. The whole place is plastered with Dahl logos. There's tons of places in Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 1 that have Dahl plastered all over them. Like, look at the fridge. If you walk into the fridge and you look up, you will see a massive Dahl protrusion. If you go into the Caustic Caverns, obviously, it's below Sanctuary. It's going to have lots of Dahl stuff everywhere. But it really shows off this is what it's like now, not what it was like when everyone first got here. I would so love to see what it was like back in the day when they first came to Pandora and started setting up all these mining operations. And speaking of them, why did they come? Minerals, right? They came because of certain minerals. They didn't know that the crystalisks were a thing, obviously, which is why that whole side quest was a thing. So they must have been coming here for something in the first place, and they don't really describe it entirely in Borderlands 2, and I would absolutely love to know why Dahl actually came to Pandora. And Also, if you didn't know, that's how bandits came to Pandora. A lot of bandits, anyway, came to Pandora. They were prisoners from other worlds and were actually given to Dahl to do the mining operations on Pandora, as they were prisoners and they were basically like free labor. Hell yeah, I'll take that. So they came to Pandora and they were just sort of abandoned. Dahl abandoned Pandora. They completely left when Atlas came to the planet and started their invasion, and Dahl were like, we don't want any international conflict, we're going to leave and just abandon it, leaving all of that old equipment, leaving Sanctuary there, and leaving all of the old prisoners that they were supposed to take with them on the planet to die. And obviously this is why they turned into bandits. Life before bandits on Pandora and life before the whole place just turned into a rusty wasteland would be absolutely amazing to see. It's boggling to me because stuff like this could have been 20 years before Borderlands 1, 50 years, 100 years before Borderlands 1. And obviously some things would have happened, 5 or 10 years before because the characters remember it happening or certain characters talk about it like they were there. But it's just boggling to me that there's so much unused, not only content, but lore that they could capitalize on here. And it's so intriguing and such a different take on a Borderlands game to have. Because think about it this way. At this point, no vaults were open. People talked about the vaults. Marcus said his father, in his dying breath, would talk about the vault, right? No one knows where it is. And you're going to be playing a Borderlands game not looking for a vault or not knowing that the vault is really a thing. That would be hella intriguing. Would it be Borderlands without a vault? Would you be a vault hunter? You wouldn't be a vault hunter. But Tiny Tina's spin-off game, Wonderlands, is already completely established that they are perfectly okay with having games without vaults. Obviously, it's a spin-off game. It's not Borderlands, it's Wonderlands, but it would be great to see that type of perspective, personally anyway. And it would also be cool to see how Atlas came to the planet. Why did they want to come to the planet, and why would Dahl leave? I would love to know the inner conflicts there. I mean, in terms of characters as well, it's kind of hard to think about what type of characters you'd play as, because usually they're people from all different types of areas just coming together because sort of vault or money, and there would not really be that incentive. So you could sort of have like maybe, I don't know, like someone from Pandora, sort of like a Salvador character from Pandora itself, trying to figure out why this company's come to the planet. And then you could have someone who's like a defector from Dahl, who's like got insider knowledge or whatever. And another character who's come from like a different planet, who sort of came with another company, and then another company is like a spy assassin or something. Don't really know. Kind of hard, sort of thinking off the dome here. It would be kind of hard to see that, but that's what I mean. They've got to really think about what they actually want to have in the game. It's easier than just sort of going, this person from this planet, this person from this planet, there's an assassin, there's a character from the Pandora, and then sort of slam them together because they are vaulting. You'd have to think of another reason for these characters to come together for some reason. What is their end goal? Is their end goal to stop Dahl from mining? Do they have a play in why Dahl left the planet in the first place? Was it completely Atlas's fault? Did these characters bring Atlas to the planet? Things like that just make me want to write shit down. But luckily I'm saying it, so I don't have to write it down because I'm saying it. If you just keep rewinding the clock, it's sort of like what Game of Thrones have done, where you can just make a prequel and then you can introduce way more characters that weren't in the thing anyway. You don't have to worry about continuity errors. If it's set really far back, obviously, if it's set a few years before, you got to think about, the Borderlands 1 story, and then if you influence it, you got to make sure the characters die or something, so, like, where the fuck are they in the other games and stuff. But I would love to see those type of characters all come together to sort of, like, either try and stop Dahl or bring Atlas to the planet. I don't know, man. I don't know. And while Borderlands 1 gives off a great rusty aesthetic, which I'd love to capture in this prequel game, even Borderlands 2's aesthetic has got a lot of stuff I'd like to see looked at in this new game that's a prequel. I mean, Borderlands 1 showed us a lot of dusty areas because it's one of them games that came out in the 2000s that just sort of looks like brown with a bit of black lines on it. But Borderlands 2 introduces a hell of a lot new areas of the planet, and Claptrap talks about the Flash Freeze and the Southern Shelf. And also, if you look at Wormwater and the whole Oasis DLC, There are these places that were once in their prime and now have just been completely ruined, and obviously have complete opposite things going for them. I've talked about this in my Pandora video, but it's just so interesting. Like, imagine going to Oasis in its prime. Like, was it really one of those really nice places where people would flock from different planets to? It was an amazing resort with loads of water and an amazing seaside town, and now it's just been completely ruined. It's all completely dry. Mass droughts have gone on that side of the planet, completely drying out and getting rid of all the water, apart from obviously in certain aspects where the water's dripped down and stayed there, like Shade talks about in the beginning of the DLC. And also, what happened before the flash freeze in Southern Shelf? What did it look like? Why was that a thing? Why was there a flash freeze? Is the planet dying? Are we going to learn about any of that type of stuff? Was there a global warming thing? Was there a massive thing that happened on the planet? Why would it look completely different? Did the flash freeze happen during Borderlands 1? We didn't go to those areas in Borderlands 1. Had the flash freeze already happened by then? Or did it happen in between Borderlands 1 and 2 when Lilith and Roland and all that were helping Jack out and then not helping Jack out in the pre-sequel? What was going on there? Why did they not talk about that more? I mean, it feels like a flash fucking freeze and a massive drought on a part of the planet would be something that people would be talking about, but maybe it was just normal to them on Pandora for shit to go wrong. I would absolutely love to see that side explored as well. It's an amazing concept to me. I just thinking about it, there's so many things I can just think off the brain. Why would they want to do this? Why would they come to here? And even looking at some of the concept art I've probably scattered throughout this video of old doll stuff, imagine just that old, like, militaristic mining, old fantasy sci-fi space pirate looking aesthetic that Borderlands 1 had, mixed with all, like, the new technology that people are bringing to the planets, and you can have these old rustic looking guns, sort of like an Aliens vibe, if you know what I mean. Like, Aliens is in the future, but they use sort of like a very old style of transport and weaponry, obviously because the movies were made in the 80s, so you know they're doing what futuristic looks like. But that type of aesthetic I absolutely love, and it would be great to see that in Borderlands 4 as a game. So yeah, that was my theory on if Borderlands 4 was actually a prequel to Borderlands 1. I doubt many people are going to be thinking of this, which is why I thought to make a video on it. It's a very original concept idea. Many people are thinking forwards. What's going to happen to Lilith? Is Ava going to die to Krieg eventually? Muhahaha. No, I'm thinking to the past. And whilst we've already had a prequel technically with Borderlands the pre-sequel, which is a sequel and a prequel, we haven't actually had a prequel. I wouldn't know what they would call it, but it's awfully intriguing to me, and I would absolutely love, as long as the writers don't fuck it up, for them to do that type of game. Make it happen. That's all I really have. It's a bit off the cuff. It's nothing like my usual type of video. I just really wanted to talk about it because it's really intriguing to me. What do you think, guys? Do you like the idea? Do you dislike the idea? What is your theory for Borderlands? What do you think the next Borderlands game is going to be? And not even from a gameplay perspective. I think I could go on about that forever. Gameplay stuff is completely different to lore. I absolutely love the lore of stuff. So I haven't even talked about gameplay stuff. Just what do you think the story would be? And would you enjoy a prequel? And with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace.